Welcome to Ventures from the Valley, a podcast by R136 Ventures. This is the show where we highlight the biggest topics in business and investment with some of the biggest experts in the space to help you learn how to grow your portfolio in venture capital. I'm Victor Orlovski. I'm Victor Orlovski, and this is a podcast series, Ventures from the Valley. I have a privilege to speak today to my friend, Damián Scavo, who is a resident in the Silicon Valley and a fascinating person, Italian, born in Argentina. He will tell more about himself. He started programming, coding even without a computer when he was a very young age. And he made a fascinating career. Now he's a repeated serial founder, entrepreneur, and he's developing his project called Streetbeat. Damián Scavo, great to see you here.
Nice to see you, Victor, and thank you for the kind words. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you so much. So let me go straight away with some questions I have. And first, we will speak about markets and trading methods for people today, in today's world, people and companies. So I noticed that your mission, you declare it in your LinkedIn, is to democratize artificial financial intelligence for billions of people. So maybe you can explain it a little bit further. What is artificial financial intelligence? So what are you going to bring to people? What is it bringing to people?
Yeah, so in 2021, after working for almost 20 years in the industry, we decided that it's a good time to start to give to as much people as possible technology, data, and knowledge that usually is reserved for the top 0.01% of the best trading rooms. And by that, I mean data that can be used to execute trades with more information and more insights. Algo trading that can manage the money for you even when you are sleeping. And AI today that can take sound decisions based on all this information available. Working 24/7 and managing an amount of data that a single human brain cannot. When we did that, we started to interview with a lot of people. And we discovered that half of the people that we interviewed do not know what an earning call is. They don't know the difference between a price chart of a stock and a revenue chart of the underlying company. And then we discovered that the majority of the people actually lose money when trading manually. Robinhood users are down 70% in the last 3 years and a half compared to the S&P 500. And more important, there is a big space in the market, which is everything that goes from between the wealth manager and the people that do trading by themselves. Everything in the middle right now, or they use some sort of robo-advisor, which are answer 5 questions, and it is a portfolio of ETFs, which is super boring. People don't like it. But apart from that, that's it. So there is no ecumenical, or in any case, holistic view of the financial well-being of a person, where you keep in consideration salaries, loans, investments, horizons, current income, and prepare something that adapts every day based on the market events and so on. So what we actually would like to do is kind of having a Warren Buffett in your pocket that you carry around, and it tells you what is right to do right now, based on your goals and based on what's happening in the market and based on what you have. And I don't think that we are very far away from that. I think that maybe we are 2 years, 3 max away from that situation. And in that process, of course, there are plenty of low-hanging fruit that one can take to get there. So that's what we did Streetbeat, and that's what's our mission. So basically, we want everybody to carry a Warren Buffett in their phone that help them to take sound decision about their financial well-being okay, for themselves and then their family.
So you think that this artificial, as you call it, financial intelligence is Warren Buffett in your pocket, right? But if you are not Warren Buffett, what if you are somebody else? Because Warren Buffett is not speculating on the market, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Warren Buffett doesn't like Bitcoin. I mean, he's not in favor of crypto, and you are. So, I mean, this intelligence should like match a personality, right? I mean, this intelligence should know the needs, right? I mean, Warren Buffett does not think how to manage his mortgage, right? And he doesn't have these problems, right? Some do, right? Some people want to spend more because they feel like this life is for like spending now. Some people want to pass their wealth to next generation, and they can sacrifice and want to sacrifice, right? But maybe don't know how. So is artificial intelligence, you think, is gonna match like a pattern of every personality, or it's gonna like make it all like Warren Buffett like? I mean, I think that if like everyone is doing like things like Warren Buffett, this world is probably, it will become much more rational, but not much happier, right? So how would you like answer this question? I mean,
yes, you're right. So the concept of Warren Buffett is easy to understand for the masses. For a more sophisticated answer, what I see is that the possibility to have an artificial financial intelligence that know everything, every possible theory, every scientific sound discovery around any financial decision, from when is the right time to buy a house, or when is the right time to arbitrage a credit card with a loan, okay? And it should adapt to the goal, and it will adapt to the goal of the individual in that moment, but with an education call. So if the user want to, I don't know, let's say you want to create a portfolio around crypto, it will in any case apply all the modern portfolio theories about creating a portfolio, a crypto portfolio, okay? If the person would like to buy a house, he will be able to tell if that house is a good deal for him compared to market price, or he's paying too much, or he cannot afford it, or if he can afford it. Actually, I expect in the future a proactive approach in which the AI will check the transactions and will say, you know, you are paying this amount in rent, but there is this house near you, which is even nicer, and the mortgage will cost less than your, and you can afford the down payment because it will be a proactive approach, not just a passive one like we have right now. I think proactivity of the AI will be a big topic of conversation in 2025 and 2026, where we will get used to it suggesting things to us before we ask them. And and that's the
maybe
approach.
just a little bit like interrupting you here. So matching your personality is important, right? So well, Tesla, when I drive Tesla with autopilot, like full autopilot, and when I just forget to really touch a wheel and show up that I'm here, just purely because I don't wear my glasses and I don't see what is written there. So on the small letters on the screen, usually I end up having no autopilot because it just restricts me. It says, you have not made it. Now the whole thing, like your road, your way to San Francisco, you have to drive yourself. Like it penalizes me. So will this financial, whatever, intelligence, artificial financial intelligence at the end govern my investments that way? So I'm just putting my credit card and then it doesn't work. Why? Because you do not need this, right? I mean, this particular thing you're buying is not what you need now, right? So is it gonna like manage me that way? Like maybe better than my wife, or you think it's still like gonna be like an co-pilot that only is advising? I mean, I just try to understand what you envision as good, right? So, and what's your end goal? Is it like a complete control over our minds about financial, not literacy even, but financial goals? Like, I mean, it knows me better than I am. It knows my goals better than I am. And it, instead of like pushing me hard like Tesla, it will accurately probably provide me with some insights. Victor, by the way, you have overspent now. Just think, maybe it is not the right time to buy this thing, right? I mean, don't invest in stock now. Just save cash because you have this next mortgage installment in a few days. Just don't make this investment now. Right? So is it going to do this way, or it's going to like still promote me to buy? Because that's what exactly current financial advisors do, right? They try to squeeze every dollar from your pocket to be invested, right? So, and I don't like it for sure.
So yeah, correct. So right now there are a lot of conflict of interest in the financial world, trying to poke your attention, your money, and your time. So the advantage of a general artificial intelligence for finance is that it will not be this bias. Okay, it will not have this bias in suggesting what to do. I don't envision something that completely block a transaction unless it's a kid, and so a parent set up rules and then the kids need to apply the rules. But I do envision it giving an advice even after a transaction was made, and like, did you really need to go to this restaurant today? I mean, save some money so we can. And they will calculate, for example, the compound effect of things, which are very hard for the human mind to calculate them on the fly. The implication of each of our choices. So when you spend some money today, the compound effect in 30 years of what you would have saved or made with that money in 30 years is like 5 times more. So everything that you are buying today is costing you 5 times more in your retirement. And so it will give this type of advice. So I expect this type of situation unless a user want really even to eventually hold a transaction if it's crazy. So
you are going to compromise your revenues and income in order to make people more sustainable, like better in managing their financial needs. That's how you envision like a very responsible, very intelligent artificial partner for you, for your financial needs, right?
Yeah. If I was just optimizing for my money, I will still be in an hedge fund trader. I will not be doing this. Or I will never have done microfinance in West Africa. There is no financial incentive to this type of approach, I think. So my approach is really to have something that is holistic and agnostic of the self benefit, of the technology deployed. Yeah, to maximize for the actual goal set it up by the individual.
Okay, sounds good. So let's move on. So I haven't looked at what was the volume of trade today, say at New York Stock Exchange, but I assume that it's like hundreds of, like maybe dozens of billions of dollars, right? So a lot of money being moved today, just single day, one stock exchange. Something was bought, something was sold. So you are a professional trader, right? And you started as a trader. So what's your assumption for today trading day, right? Which is still going, right? And the end of the day. How many transactions and in terms of like volume and numbers were traded by, say, robots, and how much and how many were traded by people? So is it like 80-20, 99.99 to 009, 001? So what's the volume? How much is already automated?
Yeah. So if you look just at the stock market, the cash, the stock market, without considering derivatives instrument, the trend for year has been the stock market more and more in the hands of high frequency trading. We are talking a peak in 2020, previous to meme stocks, a peak of over 75% high frequency trading and 25% manual trading. Now, concerning this manual trading, is worth also mentioning that it's not actually manual. It's actually all digital transaction, and more often are order routers trying to grant best execution. So,
but at least people have made a decision to buy or sell, right?
Correct.
Obviously, everything is made by dollars, but this is people's decision.
Yes.
So, can you once again give number? When robots make a decision to buy or sell, how much of that is in volumes? I mean, how much is this robot decision to buy or sell?
The peak for the stocks, because in derivatives are different. And then for the stocks, the peak was in 2020, that was 75% just the algo trade.
And do you think it is bigger now than 75%?
The meme stock kicked in and the retail started to gain market share again of manual trading. And we went back to 40-60. And that was the last time that I checked this number in 2023. And I don't know the number today. But if I need to do a forecast in the next less than 10 years, manual trading will be like riding horses. Because you will do it if you are a cowboy or passionate about horses, but it will make no sense. As the professional do. The professional don't do manual trading unless they need to correct for some error. Professional, and by professional, I mean the top portfolio manager at the top hedge funds. I never had a professional.
So you think that do you think that in 10 years with all this artificial financial intelligence platforms being deployed, almost like every transaction will be robotized, right? So although it will be more people, but again, I mean, these people are not going to make decisions, right? They will probably maybe support the decisions of robots, right? But robots will make their own decisions, right? So probably 99% of trade in the world will be all robotized, right? In a way.
99, I'm not sure, but definitely we will be approaching 90% and maybe passing it. And it's still the decision of the human, the logic of the robot advisor, the goal of the robot advisor, or the robot, or the high frequency trade. When I was doing high frequency trading, every trade was consequence of my decision in terms of strategy. For example, I was trying to do what is called scalping of an arbitrage scalping on derivatives of covered warrants. When the underlying of a covered warrants move, the covered warrant itself need to adapt to the new price. And if there is physical time that is required for the machine of the market maker to adapt to the new price. You need to read the new price, apply the formula, and submit the new price to market. If I'm faster than them, then I can buy before they change the price and then sell 1 second later when the price is updated. Right now we are talking about milliseconds when it's updated. But this trade is consequence of all my choices, all my thinking, all the hardware that I deployed. It's a robot that did the trade, but it's all consequence of human. So right now, the synthetic decision that all the robot advisor and the algo traders take is still full consequence of human construction, both in terms of algorithm and both in terms, or almost 99%, and both in terms of technology that was deployed. In the future, however, like I see right now in Streetbeat, you can let an artificial intelligence based on all the goal of the user, whatever happened in the market in the reference period of time, let's say last month, because I'm rebalancing the portfolio monthly, for example, personally. Okay. And all the data available and the current level of intelligence, it will take a decision without me even intervene. So, and why I like it more than my set and forget or buy and hold portfolio is because I feel I sleep better at night because that thing is looking at millions of data points and news.
You sleep better at night because somebody is trading at night, right? You can sleep.
Yeah, it's
your robot is trading.
It's looking at the market, it's trading, it's adapting to the market, it's based on the goal that I set. So I see that will become AI trading. It's not anymore robot trading or algo trading. It's AI trading. That right now is 0.0 something. I expect in the next 30 years, that instead will become better than 99.9% of the humans. So, and he will write even algo trading when he finds an opportunity. So that's a new thing that is not yet, it's 0.0 of the market right now, which the AI trading will then become a good percentage of the market. 5, 10%, 20% of the market, maybe at 1.40. And they always will be algo trading, high frequency trading, and robot trading, and AI trading. So this will be the two big ones. And then it will be manual trading will be a small minority. So these are the three forces that we're going to start to move the market.
Well, move the market. Sorry. Well, move the market, right? So sometimes I wake up and I'm not a trader, although I'm a technology made my career in technology and banking. I'm not a trader, right? So I could not really judge what has happened to the market today. Say I wake up and then I see S&P 500 down, markets are in a red zone, like losing 3-4%. And then I try to understand what was the news. What was it driven by? And then I find no news, right? And analysts speculate that this might be this news or that news or something. Sometimes news coming is really terrible, but markets are not moving, right? So I would imagine that I just see the news on TV and then there must be like a huge move on the market, down or up, right? I just go into my trading app and I see nothing, right? So can you just open some insights of as a trader, why these fluctuations are going on? Is it like robots who are trading like down or up, and that how markets are moving? Who makes this decision to like drop the price of S&P 4%? There must be somebody, right? So or something, right? So how this is being governed? What is going on?
Well, the first thing that we need to know is that the majority of the stock movement happen when the market is closed. So actually, the majority of the stock price movement happen when the stock is not usually tradable. And but that will change in the future because the stock will be more and more tradable 24/7. Robinhood recently introduced kind of trading 24/7 for manual traders, so people can lose money 24/7 doing trading manually, which is what they do. But in fact, the majority of the movement of stock happen during overnight, it's called, when the market is closed. Now, the reason why that happens is for multiple reasons, and it has been changing during years. So in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, manipulate the market was relatively easier compared to now. The people are in Wall Street will talk after dinner and would agree on something before the market open. And so the market will gonna open with the agreements that happen outside of the market. And this is actually normal and legal. So you can do what is called OTC, which is over-the-counter trading. And actually, when you have a big trade to do, you don't put it in the market. You actually start to do a bunch of phone calls to people that own that asset, and you do or chat via Bloomberg, and you do the transaction privately. Because if you put a big order to the market, you will screw the price up or down. So the majority, there is a lot of volume that still happen OTC, over the counter, and then the clearing happen at market close. So at market close, a bunch of stock communicate. A bunch of firms communicate what they did. When they communicate this, the clearinghouse adjust the closing price a little bit. But actually,
OTC are disclosed. Like OTC transactions are disclosed, but
to
not
the clearinghouse
seen real time online, right?
Yeah.
So they do not influence the price, but then you can find out at the end of the day or beginning of next day that there were like some OTC trades, right?
Well, the clearinghouse, the clearinghouse, and then there are some regulations related to disclosure of this. But that's about it. It's not that you find it in the news that somebody did an OTC, a gigantic OTC order. And this one thing. Then the other thing is that is the interconnection of everything. If the Japan market is technically the first one to open on a graphic day, let's say, but it was actually influenced by the previous New York day. So the Japanese market opened, and stuff happened during the market open in Japan that influenced then the Europe. Europe, certain things happen, and that influenced United States. United States, certain things happen, and it influenced the closing in Europe and the opening in Japan. So everything is interconnected. For example, when I was trading in Europe, at 2:30 p.m. Italian time is when the American usually release the big macroeconomic data. So that was the most important moment for us. So we had all the machines set for doing arbitrage, because that's when the movement of leverage product in particular moved like crazy. So you have that few 2 minutes, 1 minute window at 2:30 that the market do, and that's our machine hitting each other. So a lot of our volume, almost.
I see now. I see adrenaline in your voice.
Yeah,
you remember those days.
My God. 80% of our volume were made at market open or at macroeconomic data release in the United States when I was doing arbitrage. So because everything is so interconnected, and of course, this moved the Italian stock price and the European stock prices, and that was impacted the Americans and vice versa. Okay, so everything is interconnected. And then there is asymmetry of information. So there is people that know more than others and take different decisions based on that. Information that are not yet available on the market. For example, let's talk about credit card data. In the credit card data, you can see the revenue of a company, about 150 very well, 400 so-and-so, public trade. And every day you could potentially rebalance the portfolio based on that information. Now, there are about 200 companies that buy that data, but then there is 8 billion people that they don't. Okay, so the price is moving, you don't know why, but they do. And so that's another asymmetry that you need to consider.
I have a crazy question to you. So imagine an algorithm which can crack other algorithms. So it can boost other sale or purchase of particular shares or whatever group of companies. So it can intentionally fake algorithms, other algorithms. So to move markets up and down, right? Do you think such algorithms exist today that can actually understand how other algorithms are like performing, and that can actually faking other algorithms by giving some like insights? I'm not speaking about fake news, right? I mean, but like cracking an algorithm which will somehow influence like other algorithms with like big sums, which will start buying, for example, and then you like bought before you just push them to buy or push them to sell. So you can make a lot of money, right? So there are people who are trying to develop it. Is it legal, by the way? Because I mean, you don't do anything illegal, right? You do not create any fake news. You just simply prompt algorithms to react on your actions, right? Basically, by pushing it up.
Yes, this has been happening since the beginning of algo trade, and this totally normal. Is actually fun. So imagine that first of all, what's the game of a market maker? The game of a market maker is being best bid and best ask at the same time. So everybody that buy and sell the stock or the bond buy to the market maker. So he made always the spread, because statistically the volumes, okay, if the market go up, okay, he will be selling and then he will adjust in the price, or he will be hedging, but he will always on average make the bid-ask spread. The bid-ask spread is significant. Is in the smallest, more squeezed company like Apple at a regular hour of the day is 7 basis points. but more normally is 30, 40 basis points. And market open is 150 basis points on the Russell 2000 for the first half an hour. So being market maker is a big advantage. Well, that comes with a risk. You need to be best price, and you need to decide your robot what's the maximum best price that you can reach both in bid and in ask. So there are techniques to, trigger the machine to be best price by pricing one single stock, the minimum amount possible allowed by the stock market, higher than the market maker, until you see that he doesn't pass you and go back as best second. When you do that, you know what's his trigger best price, and you can use this to your advantage. Let's say that you need to sell. You will trigger him to go up to one ticker below the max, and then you will sell it to that maximum, okay, that he went up. And then there is machines like this that loop between each other. I actually crashed the stock market once by looping two of the. Yeah, it was 2006 was the bond market in Italy, and we looped a couple of market maker. We looked and we sent so many updates because they were trying to understand each other limits. And we sent so many consecutive or parallel orders to the market that the actual hardware of the market was overwhelmed and shut down. So they have to put online the backup system, which was weaker, which went down again because I didn't have time to correct the loop with the other counterpart. And we became friends with the other guy that we were looping on that because we know it was another famous bank, and we are still friends today. Actually, we spoke last week. Yeah, that was 2006. Yeah.
It was funny, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe an advice to maybe a question and advice. So, do you think that professional traders will exist in 10 years after all, or will they be able to make money? And any advice you can give to a professional trader whose day-to-day job is trading and making money on trading? What to do, what to learn next in order to survive as a trader going forward?
Oh, good question. So, first of all, yes, they will still exist. What will going to happen is that there is a lot of related work to a professional trader that will be automatic in the future. For example, data science analysis or software development will become much more easy, and a professional trader will be able to do much more by himself. I remember in the past when I had to do complex software, like trying to understand the other people's position by analyzing the transaction, you will need to use a lot of developer to try to code something that was more or less reliable. In the future, I expect AI to help a trader, which usually is able to code a bit, to become a very good coder. So we will be able to code less. Then the second thing is there will be less professional trader because that's the natural order of things. So when I started to provide a frequency trading tool to the stockers, to the market makers, manually at the beginning, you needed like 140 people to trade 1,000 stock because they need to update the price manually. When the price was updated automatically based on the people's algorithms, then the trading room shrink from, a trading room of 500 people became a trading room of 40 people. Now with AI evolution that I see in the next 10 years, these 40 people will become probably 15. Okay, so the trend is shrinking. But professional trader is like a niche. They know this. So they wanna be professional trader from home will have a great time because you will literally ask the AI in the future what they want. Right now, it can't really do crazy things. The AI will create just a some portfolio. But if you want to do intraday trading or sophisticated options, constructions, That is still not here today for the retail. It's there for super professional, but not for the retail. But it will be here soon, in less than 5 years. So people will be able to build complex options by just asking the AI, hey, I would like to create a portfolio that is market neutral, okay? And it will create a long-short trading strategy using ETFs or options, and then different trading strategies, and he will try to find the one that return the most, and it will take probably few minutes, maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes, then 10 minutes to find the one that yield the most with a market neutral position.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Thank you. So maybe last question in this section, and then we will go further with some other ideas and thoughts and some other topics. So your dream is to democratize actually artificial and goal and your role, if you will, artificial financial intelligence for billions of people. When it comes true, will there be still any way to find alpha in this market, or everything will become beta? Like, I mean, everyone is doing everything. Knowledge is totally transparent. Intelligence is totally transparent. So, will there be any way to find alpha, or it will just disappear? Right?
Yeah,
like a concept of alpha, Peter.
No, there will always be alpha. There will always be asymmetry of information and asymmetry of resources. So
even you have democratized it to a very large extent, right? But you still think there will be some uncertainty, right? And some asymmetry, right?
Totally. And also there will be different risk appetite. There will be different new asset classes that will be born. We think that the blockchain is the future. Blockchain is already the past. It's 12-year-old technology. There will be much more asset classes and technology that we cannot even imagine right now. Each of them will have different arbitrage opportunities that will be born. When I say democratize financial intelligence, I don't say democratize alpha. That's impossible by definition. Okay. Alpha is the corner case.
It will become beta. I mean, when you democratize alpha, it will become beta, right? So
there is not. And when you democratize alpha, you remove alpha. So it's that's not the goal. Is financial intelligence. By financial intelligence, I mean, is this a good moment to buy the house? Yes or no? The AI will tell you why. Yes, no, why. This house in particular, yes, no, why. And it will be possible actually to buy the house from the app, directly from a chat experience or a voice experience. You will be able through API to go fill all the necessary form for the mortgage and send the paper to whatever is needed. And so I expect the entire process. And so democratizing alpha and democratizing financial intelligence are two different things. Democratizing alpha is not my business. It will be, and it's actually not even technically possible, because the more you democratize it, the less alpha you have. So so that's the thing.
So you want to offer alpha to as many people as possible, but do not, right? I mean, do not want to put it to everyone.
No. I don't. The goal of the AI is not to democratize alpha. Is actually to use what knowledge that already exists, that few people have, and give the knowledge to everybody. Because construction of a neutral portfolio is something that today is possible. But if I go downstairs here and I work for 1 day, I will meet nobody that is able to do it. Okay, or maybe one because I'm close to Wall Street, but nobody. And instead, if you ask the AI can do it in, right now 20 minutes. So we don't give it right now to retail because it's a terrible user experience. But in 1 year, it will be 1 minute. And then it will then say, now you can build a neutral portfolio using derivative tools too. So that's what I mean by democratizing financial intelligence. Not democratizing access to a data set that is super rare, super expensive, that will help me to trade for example, the airplanes, the company airplane tickets are public. You could buy that data, which ticket was sold by who, and you can use it to have long-short position of airplane company in maybe even a neutral portfolio. Long on the two ones that are doing well, short on the two ones that are doing bad, no, for example. No, that will not be the case. I mean, maybe, but it's a very niche application of AI.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So thanks. So let's switch to other topic. So you and I, we both live in the United States, and being foreigners, at least like born and raised in different countries, we may compare the US banking and FinTech system with other countries. And I must say that at least banking is very outdated, and like FinTech is not developed in the US to the extent it is developed in, say, the UK market, right, where a regulator has introduced sandboxes, different type of licenses, normalized the entire legislation around FinTech, and is allowing a lot to FinTech startups, right? So it's a lot of freedom to do whatever you want, and then as you grow, they adopt legislation towards the needs of consumers, companies, name it, right? So I would say that most of Asian markets are also much further developed than the US market, right? Although the US is still far the biggest market from banking and FinTech perspectives, right? So my question is, what is your expectation? So there is a new government coming, new administration, new legislation, hopefully. So what would you do, or how would you treat it if you were like a part of that? What would you, and you are a startupper, right? You are part of that. You are a customer to them, right? At the end of the day, they should do something good for you to develop faster. Maybe it might not be good for you because it will increase competition, but it will definitely make good for me, right? Because I'm as consumer will have better choices, like more FinTech, more products, better services. So what would you do to make the US not great again, but great in terms of FinTech and financial institutions, like new players, startups in this field? Any thoughts?
Oh my God, there is plenty to do. So
okay.
I'm start.
Let's start. Maybe somebody will listen and execute.
I hope so. I've been saying that for a couple of years. Yeah. So there is plenty to do. As you say, the technology is very updated. Like the ACH mechanism is, it's ridiculous. The way in which the American transfer money by check or ACH is subject to so much fraud. We have to build so many mechanisms too, and everybody needs to build so many mechanisms that slow down everything and cost a fortune. And then a lot of money.
I will echo you. When the only thing what secures your transaction is your social is like bad, because your social is not publicly available, but you give it like almost everywhere, right?
No, but there is.
And how we can make it confidential if you are required to provide your social like almost everywhere, and then people may transact with your social just because it's like very confidential data you should keep for yourself, right?
But there is any crazy things. I would show you an example. And then we will talk about how to solve problems. At the beginning of Streetbeat, there was a bunch of people that were doing ACH wire in the consumer product. They will trade with that money. If they lose money, but only if they lose money, they will tell the originator bank, oh, you know that ACH that I did, it was an error. Please cancel it. And you technically have 1 week to do it super easy. And 1 month, you can still do it. So you can imagine how many people wired money, and if they were losing money, they were canceling 80%. But also, because of course they were gambling it, Okay, so there was somebody that wired in 50,000 and make $1 million. And then other people that wired 50,000, they lose 25,000 of them. So imagine how many mechanisms you need to put in place for 1 month to prevent people from gambling. So for example, the universe of stock need to be limited. Withdrawals cannot be possible. ACH transaction should have a long settlement day. So a lot of crazy things. But let's talk about the benevolent user, not the malevolent user experience. And what can we do as the United States to improve the life of them? So the first thing that is totally missing is a regulation related to making a digital asset, like a crypto asset, public available in an exchange. Right now, when you go public in the stock market with your company, there is a sophisticated due diligence process with the regulatory bodies that check the company before going public. Okay, they do a significant amount of due diligence. You need to have a compliance, external compliant company, public records, accounting is revised by multiple entities. Like that. Right now, we can do a crypto and maybe at one point Coinbase will list it. And then 98% of them shut down, of course. So there should be a clear regulation that will benefit the final customer of listing asset in public exchange, okay, like Coinbase. So that will help everybody to get rid of that 98% of trash and spam project. The other thing that is missing concerning crypto is robo-advisors have been proved to be good for managing stocks. They can be good also managing digital assets. But right now, there is no robo-advisor regulation for digital asset. So it's far west. So as Streetbeat, even if I have the technology, I cannot really give it to the user. The only thing is I can do robo-advisor on ETFs related to it. So that is needed. Then there is, I would say these two are the more urgent. Then there is, right now, AI. I mean, robo-advisor regulation are there and are clear, but they are not designed by for an AI in the way in which the AI works today. So it's definitely missing some regulation related to an AI that do robo-advisor. Same logic for everybody, but a different result for everybody based different decisions for everybody based on the goal of the user. Okay, so same technology in the middle, but based on the goal of the user and the current market condition, it will take a different decision. This is not expected by the current regulation. So we need to build a regulation around AI taking the wheel, as we did for the cars. Also in the stock market.
Same thing. Yes. I would add the same thing about copy trading. Copy trading, that's what Ethereum is doing almost everywhere. Is not permitted in the US because it is considered managed service. So basically, you need to sign like a managed service agreement between a consumer and whatever trader whom you copy, basically, and that makes digitalization of the whole copy trading not possible, because that is somehow you're managing someone else's money, although it is not true, right? You're not managing, you're managing your own money, and others are just copy trading you. So it's not like you're managing their money because they can go away anytime, right? But the US regulation still treating it as a money management, right? Which is completely different nature.
Bravo. Correct. And also remuneration of that. Because if I'm being copied, I can get some money out of it. And same thing. Actually, we have the same problem with Streetbeat. When we let people build portfolio, somebody could use the same portfolio that they built with AI, but they cannot get any money out of it. Even if they use AI, they create a great portfolio that is doing very well. He would like to give it to his friends. Or, you can right now share your portfolio. The AI will, in any case, keep managing it, but I cannot pay the user that created that portfolio or share anything with that. So there is, and that the same in crypto. So it's really years behind from this point of view, the regulator.
What do you think of tokenization? Is it going to come? Because I think that might be like a new wave of FinTech revolution, if you will, where tokenization of real world assets, as they call it, may take place and transform the entire industry where everything is tokenized and decentralized. So instead of having traditional conventional stock exchange, basically everything will be like OTC and stock exchange at once, just in one box, and it might like change the way people actually transact, because every asset can become a token and can freely be exchanged one upon each other. So you don't need even like a common ground like dollars for that, because everything can be tradable against everything. So you don't need to have like the common ground, basically, even to determine the price. So like back to basis where we started from, where we exchange products and services without inventing money, right? But here it's like gonna be like in a completely different way, right? This tokenization may work. So do you think it may come and be adopted by regulators soon?
Yeah, I'm surprised by how slow that thing is going, because I totally see big asset like a house or a building being much efficiently exchange and manage if the value is inside the token. So I saw several startups working in that space, and I clearly see that as the future, but I'm surprised by how slow it's going. There is also another thing. AI can manage token much better than paperwork, right? So I expect also a demand for more tokenized items when the AI will be able to take decisions about when to buy a property. So it can, or suggestions. It can much easier manage that part. So I see tokenization coming more, but I'm surprised by how slow it's proceeding, because at the end of the day, we have two problems that are the big elephant in the room. The people that manage this type of asset do not understand anything of what we are talking about. So right now I see already a lot of people, they don't understand AI in the market, as I saw a lot of people do not understand, they didn't understand and they're still not understanding blockchain. So that's a big elephant in the room. The older people get, and the more responsibility and so also more control and power and money they have, the less they are easy to adapt to new technology. So this is the big elephant of the room. They knew, and it's always been in humanity, they knew they need to disrupt the whole thing. So it's the eternal rebalancing of energies and forces, and it takes generations sometimes to do that. Of course, there are exceptions. So there are people that move much faster than their peers, and those are the leaders. And so the leadership, or whether now for example, in spaces like housing, is so traditional and old school that is so far away from this. So that thing could take 2-3 generations probably to.
Yeah, these companies and these owners never met any technology in their life, probably, like apart from maybe smartphones. Yeah. Not in business, at least.
And you can admit
there are many businesses like that. Yeah.
Yes, and we need to admit that these people now they use iPhone. So you need to admit that Steve Jobs was a genius. He managed to put that type of technology in the end of literally everybody. So to do that with blockchain, then we need some sort of Steve Jobs of blockchain that managed to do that, and we don't have it yet. I mean, I never met it yet.
It will come with a new generation of entrepreneurs.
Yeah. We are waiting for it.
Yes. Okay, so let's speak about AGI. AGI, which is like an equivalent of super intelligence, something what may come soon. Like some people, like Sam Altman, think it may come in, as he quoted, at thousands of days. If you think of thousands of days, this is between 3 years from now, or whatever time he said it gonna come, and say 10 years, right? More or less, like 10,000 days. Otherwise, he would say more than 10,000, hopefully, not to mislead anyone. But anyway, so what's your view on AGI? You're in AI business, like although it's FinTech, artificial financial intelligence, as you quoted it, but still it's an AI, right? So an expert in AI. So what's your prediction? When we will see AGI coming to our day-to-day lives?
Yeah, so I think, by the way, last week he said 2025, but don't, I need to find it again. But
yeah, he corrected himself. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and anyway, the definition of AGI is there are multiple definitions of AGI. Somebody that talk about a super intelligent, like more than Einstein. And somebody say, no, artificial general intelligence is when the AI can do 80% of the job what a person can do in a computer. So there are two different, multiple definitions of AGI. So let's talk about the first definition, the simple one, in which the AI can do 80% of what a person is doing in front of a computer, no matter the field, no matter the education, no matter anything. I think that one is coming next year. Anthropic show a nice prototype of an AI using a computer. That was, screenshotting and then taking decisions. And before them, there were 2-3 startups already using OpenAI and multiple sources that were able to use a computer, I would say, better than 65% of the population already. Definitely better than my mom, which is 73 right now. And they were coding, they were creating a website on the fly, they were, finding a recipe, they were so on. So I think 2025, end of 2025, is reasonable for an AGI that is able to do what 80% of the people can do in front of computer. If it's not artistic, super artistic, or super decision maker, or super high responsibility, or super, life of people depend on it. I don't think that will go away, but it will be the average work that 80% can be automatic. But that's a big win in 2026 because you will have a lot of virtual employees. You just create a virtual machine somewhere and the AI keep using it and you tell it what to do. Over Einstein level of intelligence. That's hard to predict. But probably yes, we are in the... What's happening is that for the first time, we know what to do.
Is it possible to get it with the current algorithms, current LLMs available today, or we need completely different mathematics algorithms for this to achieve this? What's your view? We are lacking data, so we will push more data, more compute power, and we will get it, or we just need to rethink the way we compute things, right? I mean, like these algorithms behind it are not capable of achieving the second layer of AGI, where it is like super intelligence, where it is trading better than any trader, painting better than any painter, and doing math or doing whatever, I don't know, weather predictions better than anyone in this planet.
So first of all, we need to layer up the LLM and the GPTs into an agentic architecture. And because it's being proven more and more, and everybody now is moving toward, agentic architecture are much smarter than a single LLM. Okay, because they have LLMs of different event providers talk to each other to obtain a result that is higher than a single LLM alone. So, for example, in Streetbeat, we have an agentic architecture which every agent chooses the best LLM, but to perform the task that is requested. But the interaction is between different agents on the fly with third agent as a control. So you have always 3 agents working on a single task, and actually you have an orchestrator agent that actually break task in pieces and then assign it to cluster of agents. And so you intuitively can understand that this is a form of intelligence that is much higher than just an LLM or a GPT. And that's the direction of also OpenAI. So the thinking O1 is actually, there is an agentic architecture behind it. So you have multiple LLMs, or each of them will be specially trained. For example, Anthropic is very good at cleaning the data that used for training. So you will have LLM specialized for math thinking or reasoning or painting or art, etc. So you'll have a bunch of them specialized, infinite of them. Then they will have multiple providers, Anthropic, OpenAI, Grok, orchestrated inside agentic architecture. Agentic architecture, splitting problems in atomizing problem to the most smaller part, assigning it to multiple agents that work together with multiple LLMs and multiple AIs provider to solve the atomic problem, and then orchestrator, triple orchestrator that will aggregate that, and everything will happen in milliseconds. So that's where AGI will come from. It will not come from one single LLM or one single GPT.
So it will be a collection of different basically technologies that would combine together, would give it is like a little bit like our brain, right? Which is like doesn't have a central processing, right? Which is like assembly of so many different algorithms and so many different
mechanisms,
neural networks, right? And chemical processes, that there is no like one center. At least that's how today science sees it, right? I mean that there is no like anything like a center of our like brain activity, right? It's like completely diversified, but somehow working together, right?
Correct.
Somehow we just see ourselves as a human being, like a personality, right? Although we are not. If you just break it into pieces, we are like collection of so many different algorithms, and there is no even an orchestration, right? I mean, they somehow agree with each other internally, right? So without like a central orchestrator. So it might be the same for AGI, right? So that's your vision.
Yeah. I mean, so that's what's happening right now. And then I think the thing is that for the first part in human history, we know what it takes now to build an AGI. And now it's a matter of improving, optimizing, more hardware, no more data. We have enough data. So more hardware, more improvement, and a little bit more of time. But yes, super intelligence like Einstein level plus. I think we are low digit thousand, but maybe just single digit thousand. Okay, that's what I expect. Yeah. I mean, by 2030 for sure. For sure. I mean, I'm happy to bet what you want.
Okay, that's interesting. So the prediction is that you are one of the few people I know. I mean, I don't know personally Sam Altman, who is a big advocate for it coming soon. But most of people I work with and speak to, they are more conservative. They think it will take another 10 years, and they think that the current level of algorithms is not sufficient enough to make
superhuman intelligence,
superhuman, yeah.
No, we are
good.
There.
I'm all here waiting for it to welcome it. So my question is back to Streetbeat then. So you're building something for years to come, right? You are in a very early evolution of your startup, or gaining some traction, really doing great so far, and congrats with all this. And obviously AI is a buzzword, but you're doing something very special, and something what many of your prospect customers want to see. And I know that you have signed up some agreements already with some of very large customers. Do you base all your like algorithms on certain, like, is it like your proprietary stuff, or you just take open source, or you just rely on whatever Anthropic or Mistral or whatever OpenAI? So what is under like behind the scene? I mean, what's the algorithms you're using, this framework?
Yeah, sure. So we build our own agentic architecture and our own orchestration. And our use of existing technology is everywhere that make it go faster. So it will be.
But you do not develop your own LLM, right? You do not build your own LLM.
I will need 100.
Well, I mean, many people do crazy things. I mean,
yeah, I will need 100,000 NVIDIA cards, which cost 5 billion, which is something that Elon Musk can do. I can't.
Well, it's not your job. You take like a foundational model, like whoever develops it, right? Then test it.
I am customer oriented first. So my obsession is with the customers. So I take everything that's available to solve as good as possible for as less money as possible, as fast as possible, the biggest problem that I can tackle. Okay. So wherever I find anything that will help me to fix to deliver the value to the customer, that's where I go and get it.
Could you open a secret? What works the best for you now at this point? So I know that tomorrow there might be some changes. Who is going to come next?
The agentic architecture by itself decide what works best. No, no, and depends.
No, not necessarily.
Depend on the task. Some task, an agent. So first of all, not all the agents need LLMs. That's very important clarification. So there are some LLMs that can be used by some agents, and each agent pick the LLM that perform better for the task that has been optimized and assigned to that agent. And they have batteries of tests that we change continuously to check when a new release of a new LLM happens to automatically move from the previous to the new one. So it changes dynamically based on the latest version, the latest model, but also based on the objective. Sometimes you want fast, sometimes you want cheap, sometimes you want accurate, And so just shuffle for those agents, the LLMs that they can use under it. So LLM are necessary for an agentic architecture. Without LLMs, the concept of agent was not possible because the LLM are kind of some piece of the brain of the agents. And the agents can have multiple LLMs. Actually, usually they do. And they choose which one is better to perform a task on the fly. And also, usually they write thousands of lines of code on the fly to perform the task. If it's complex task, if it's simple task, make me the summary of a news, but that's super simple. But if you need to calculate the stock movement of Apple for the last 2 years and see how many times it break a threshold to decide which option will have the best ROI if you want to sell a covered call because you are long on Apple, that's more complicated. It requires dozens of seconds and thousands of lines of code and access to databases where that data is available, right? So that's complicated. Right now, the most critical part of the architecture is when they code and you compile and you run the software that they code and you verify that the software is bug-free and actually deliver the value that was required to that agentic. And right now, the best coder in this moment is Anthropic. So that's the most critical point in the chain of thought of creation of answer to a customer. But it changes every 3 months, something happens.
Yeah. It's a good computation actually.
Very good.
It's good for customers.
Yes.
And end users. So, and where do you get data? I understand that you have tons of public data, right, to train your models, but do you use any proprietary data? You just buy data from the market to train?
So we have agreement with Morningstar, Benzinga, and a small experiment right now with Seeking Alpha. And then we have several other partners that provide us some other data. And the beauty of this partnership that we have is that we can extend them to our customers. So if the customer already have a data set, we can connect the agents to the data set that they have. We can supplement with data that we buy, or they can buy from Seeking Alpha, Morningstar, or Benzinga, and it's automatically connected. So you just need to turn it on, and they don't need to do any developer to have that data already available to the agent. So usually the integration process is the most interesting part because it's when the customer decide which data they want to share with the system to achieve which use case. For example, if you give the data system the transaction history, it can tell you, many subscriptions, yes, but also that maybe you are overspending, So, but transactions come with privacy issues, etc. So all the privacy concern, run everything on the cloud of the customer, etc. Clean the data before it go to an LLM, etc.
That's what you basically do in Streetbeat, right? So
yes.
that's one part of the business case.
Yes,
I think that what maybe also is a barrier that prevents like AGI to like replace Streetbeat at some point, right? Because you need to have, especially working with the large customers, large players, you need to like brokerage firms or banks, right? Or trading platforms. You need to have all this
in log.
This corporate procedures met, right? So you could not really go and do it like all in public cloud with public data. You just need to take into consideration a lot of privacy issues and corporate data stuff, which has to be specially managed. So I think that's a little bit of a protection from any algorithm to jump into this. Like now, like there is a big competition going in AI search, right? AI, like OpenAI, Perplexity, a bunch of other startups trying to build like AI search, and they're doing basically the same thing. They like somehow like try to differentiate, but it's hard. So in your business, when you are in B2B, it's easier because you just embed so much of like corporate complexity, which will stay there, right? That it will be hard for others to manage. So it's not like an easy project.
And that's allow us to mitigate a lot of the risk, adapt to each situation. And there is a lot of regulatory compliance complexity into deploy this type of things. And so, it's a process, and that's take time, and also take time for the customer to understand what is possible, what is not, what they can expect, what is, and usually they are surprised on the positive, but there is also sometimes excessive expectations, so you need to mitigate them. So there is all a part of adoption. The big guy, Goldman Sachs, UBS, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, they will build this in-house. Let's say the top 50 banks in the world, to be generous, probably the top 15, but the top 50 will build this in-house. Then there is a bunch of others that are looking what to do, and they didn't decide. And then there is a group of others that are smarter, smaller, faster, that they already know what they want to do. They don't know how to do it. They have been trying to do it by themselves and they fail. And that's our immediate customer. And as soon as other people of this level see what we did, they want it immediately. So the game here is really conquering the market share as fast as possible to serve as many people as possible fast. And it's a game of relationship, trust, and scalability of the integration team. So that's why at one point we're gonna do a Series A to scale the biz dev and the integration team, because it's necessary for scalability.
Okay, thank you. So last question on AGI. You predicted it's coming, like strong AGI is coming before 2030, which is only 6 years ahead, even 5 years ahead of us. Do you think it will be available for you and me and everyone? It will democratize the intelligence overall? It will be like free or maybe subscribed intelligence for everyone? Or you think that it will be very proprietary and very custom oriented, or maybe even being taken all by government control? So do you think it will be more like democratizing the environment, the technology, and the world, or it will be the first probably case in the history where it will be taken by a few and will never be a part of, because otherwise it will really equalize a lot of stuff and things around the globe, right? Is there anyone who, like, you think will gain an advantage by using it?
That's many questions in one and many top questions.
Yeah.
So first of all, the inflection point is when the AI will start to improve itself, right? So when the agent architecture will start to rewrite the LLMs at the foundation level. or optimize them, or start to write other agents below it. And we'll start maybe also to design better hardware. And NVIDIA already using a lot of AI to write the new hardware, literally. So there will be this reinforcing cycle that will accelerate exponentially the AI, and it will become at one point for the AI like for us talking with ants, because we don't care. Okay, so that's another problem. But let's not enter into that realm of complexity. But coming sooner, the thing is, at the beginning, the first instance of super AI will be kept secret, and it will be used to build the best version of itself, more efficient, cheaper, before it's actually released in a safe and controlled way to the environment, to everybody, me and you. At the same time, there are a bunch of open source projects like Grok that are unpredictable. And in particular, they are unpredictable if you think about China and other countries like that are extremely good at copying. So in the moment in which, they are already playing with Llama and Grok all the time in China. In the moment in which those become self-improving, then what the Chinese government will do with it, I have no idea. And what we're going to... So I'm not a big fan of open source project, to be honest. I think they are extremely risky. And but yes, somebody will do it, so it's better that somebody does it and somebody has some control about it. I understand that philosophy, but I do still think that are extremely dangerous. In any case, yes, we will have all access to superhuman intelligence, and somebody will have access to a much better version of it. And then there will be malevolent use of all this, because that's part of the human nature, and we need to learn how to deal with that. So in my opinion, the AI is much more powerful than the atomic bombs. It actually will be able to very easily intercept atomic bombs before they hit anything. So who control the most powerful AI will be actually the most powerful person in people, organization, state, government, whatever. Okay, and it will be a race. It's an arm race right now. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by Europe because they don't understand anything of what I just say. When instead they should take $100 billion of the European Union and put it into AI right now, and they should ask Victor and Damián, please move back to Europe, because we are lagging. 97% of the NVIDIA cards went to United States. 3% of that went to Europe. So
they're trying, though. Yeah. I mean, they have Mistral and a bunch of other projects there, like decent. But yeah you're right.
How much money did Mistral
need a lot more?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that Anthropic was founded by two people that are from Italian origins. OpenAI is mostly Polish people that were in the founding team, and then Sam Altman, okay. And Elon Musk is South Africa. Okay. But the thing is, there is a lot of talent, but it's too fragmented, Europe right now. If there was somebody that really say, hey, 1 second, let's put $100 billion to create a AI center in Europe, and let's attract all the talents, that will be beneficial for humanity in general, because we always benefit for multiple situation for balance instead of dual poles or three poles.
Yep. Okay. That sounds like very intriguing. I agree. So, few personal questions before we wrap up. You gained your first $1 million when you were 26. What did you do with it?
Mm-hmm. So when I deployed the algo trading strategy to do scalping, we found some market makers that were slightly slower than us, a lot slower than us, actually. For example, Goldman Sachs, and we were able to make a lot of money out of it. And, I come from a family that never had. We lost a lot of money, or almost everything, during the military coup in Argentina. And when my family moved back to Italy, we were in governative house donated cloth. So it was a rough start. So with the first money, that first $1 million, I actually fixed a bunch of things in the family, fulfill a lot of material dreams, went around the planet, travel a lot, meet with a lot of incredible and remarkable people. I spent some of that money in my personal growth and training. I thought that by 26, the main focus should be my self-development. So between 26 and 36, I optimize for self-development. So this absolute total center of my attention was my self-development. So I met with psychologists, leaders, gurus, spiritual teachers. And that became strongly central and essential part in my life. I always say, we are here for our self-development work. The other work is like necessary and important, and let's make it meaningful. But it should stay in proportion at when you are at the university and you work at McDonald's to pay your university. Okay. So the main core is the journey in life of self-development. And the rest is something that you do meaningfully and consciously. And also to the benefit to try to leave the place slightly better than you find it. But actually the main thing is how do you transform yourself in the process. So my core is always on self-growth, self-development. And also I use that resource to create some, because I always come from this environment of poverty. So I always use good part of my resource to try to help other people to make money. So I met Yunus, Nobel Prize for Peace, currently president of Bangladesh. And he inspired me to do some microfinance project with multiple NGO organizations. And I used some of my money to do that, some of that money to do fundraising for NGOs and, stuff like that. That was the main use of the money. And then I keep reinvested. And then until I created my previous company that I bootstrapped, I exited that one. Yeah.
You did a lot with your first million, I must say.
Well, in Italy, you can do a lot of money with 1 million euro. So, yeah.
There you are, 1 million euro. When you get, and I'm not asking if, I'm asking when, because I'm sure it will come. When you get your $1 billion check, what will you do with it? Do you have an idea? How will you spend $1 billion?
Yeah, I think right now we have a problem in the ecosystem, which is right now, for example, in the VC ecosystem, the incentive is how to make more money and deploy money to where it make more money. And I think that incentive is suboptimal for humanity. For example, Instagram makes a lot of money, but don't tell me that it brings a lot of value to humanity. Okay, because that's not true. If any, it devours attention. Okay, and I am one of the victims, definitely, obviously. And
I hope that Mark Zuckerberg will listen to this podcast and will send us some message or whatever, WhatsApp or Instagram, explaining that we are not right. But, I do agree with you.
I think the incentive...
At least it is making a lot of harm to my kids, that's for sure.
Yeah, the incentive is make more money when you found or acquire a company like this. But instead, I would like to create a group or organization of people that at least try. I'm not saying that is absolutely certain, but at least try to calculate in some form the benefits for humanity of a technology before actually funding it. Because even Robinhood user that was supposedly originally made to make people wealthier, I mean, it's not making people wealthier. It's making people perform less than the S&P 500. Robo-advisors are better. If they could transform they sell into AI-powered robo-advisor like Streetbeat, it will be, and they will. I'm 100% sure they are working on it. Actually, they acquired Plutofy, probably to move in that direction. But, so we need a VC firm that invests in stuff that actually improve the level of consciousness of humanity, of the level of self-development. And of course, it's difficult to define consciousness, and it's difficult to define when something actually increase it versus decrease it. But at least trying, and I would like to try, that will be my goal. And I know that there are some things that for sure is not increasing the level of consciousness of the population. There are some things that for sure instead are increasing it. Even the Apple Watch that's telling you your heart rate or in the future, the sugar level in the blood, that is going in the right direction, because you can see how your heart rate then is impacting your emotions, and your emotion, your thought, and your thought, your decisions, and vice versa. So this train of consequence, if you start monitoring and be more self-aware of your body. Yesterday I was in the bed, I lay down, and I have my heart rate increase. I became able to feel my heart rates and measure it without even touching anything, just by listening. And then when my heart rate increased, I started to be upset with an insurance company that owed me a lot of money, and we had in a lawsuit. And then I asked myself, did I get upset because my heart rate increased, or my heart rate increased because I got upset? Because I'm not sure which one triggered what. Based on what I saw, actually an increase of heart rate changes your emotions, because it's automatically associated to certain heart rates are associated with certain emotions. Running is, or dancing is, and then there is being upset is 117 in my case, plus minus 5, but that's associated with anger. Okay, so if my heart rate go to 117 because I drink a coffee, then is the insurance company that is upsetting me, or is the coffee that triggered the heart rate, that triggered the thought, that triggered the emotion, or vice versa? All these things is when I think humanity should work a lot.
I may imagine that some of these insurance managers dealing with your case also got a heart rate problems time to time. So
exactly.
It's like it's a network of people now having a heart rate issue related to like one case, a single case that just makes it like a network of some bad feeling. Interesting. So spending $1 billion to improve, to increase the level of consciousness is a really fantastic idea.
More than I want to inspire. So I like to be copied. So I'm very happy to when people copy me.
Yes,
and that's something that people don't understand. Why a Toro is no, it's great. Revolut just copied my UI straight to the pixel. So that's fantastic. It's finally a bunch of people will.
It means that you're doing something great. Yeah.
Not only that, and fulfilling my goal. I want everybody to have financial intelligence, and I cannot do that by myself. I need to really inspire. So it's not that I want that fund to be the only fund. Okay.
Yes.
I want it to just.
You want to start a trend. Trend.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be trending thing. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Then the last question is very personal, man. Is there anything some just single thing, what if you have it will make you happier? Is there something what you want to achieve, have that would make you happier?
So in my journey, I discovered that happiness is something that your mind creates. It's all the emotions are created by you. All your feelings is not something outside that you created. It's all created by you. So I learned how to create a certain level of happiness by myself. I do definitely need to polish a lot of things around what I created, a lot of corner. So I still, in my journey, I still need to fix a lot of things inside myself.
What would you think? What would you fix? What's the one thing? What would you fix? Imagine that there is a magic. So I press a button and it's fixed. What this is going to be?
If I have to answer that question, I will answer in the space-time, which is I would like to be in the right part of a timeline in which at one point I'm able to share successfully with a lot of people everything that I discovered that can be easily implemented by everybody to make them happy.
A complex thing, actually.
Yes.
So my happiness will increase the level of your happiness. So in a way, you want me to be happy, and it will make you happier, right?
Correct. Mirror neurons.
Right.
So and I would love to know that the timeline in which I am right now is the one in which I maximize for that result. And I don't know. And if I knew, I would change it. But based on everything I know, I'm trying to do the best to be in the timeline in which this will be the outcome. I'm a big fan of the Loki and the range concept of the multiple possibility of a single unit being. I would like to be at the limit of my range, of the maximum range that I actually have, at the upper limit that optimizes for my ability to share with others everything that I discovered that can help them to develop their own happiness. Okay, so this will be my use of my magic wand. Yeah.
Amazing. So you made me much happier for sure with this answer, but also with this great dialogue we had over last an hour and a half. And I want to thank you very much for those insights. And we agreed, Damián and I agreed that I'm not going to share questions. That's what I usually do. And Damián agreed on this serendipity. He said, go ahead. I like surprises. So you surprised me today with a lot of your very honest answers and very thoughtful and deep discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you,
Damián. Yeah, thank you. That was Damián Scavo, my friend, founder of Streetbeat, a great company which is aiming to bring artificial financial intelligence to everyone. And I'm a proud investor and one of supporters of the company. And thanks for your friendship and your great thoughts and ideas. That was Victor Orlovski, R136 Ventures, and our podcast, Ventures from the Valley. Thank you so much, and be with us, listen to us, watch us. Thank you. Ventures from the Valley is brought to you by R136 Ventures. To find out more about R136 Ventures and how we scale mid to late stage startups by unlocking their true potential through investment, visit r136.vc. We will be back soon. In the meantime, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. On behalf of our team here at R136 Ventures, thanks for listening.